What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the Enterprise D from Fanhome. And as we begin to work on the lower section of the hull, let's just stop and take a look real fast and just see the fact that the entire top of the saucer section is complete. I've been doing some recording today, so finishing last week's episode was probably like maybe 10 minutes ago. And needless to say, I am still completely thrilled. And I've just been staring at this for the last little bit, and it just looks so freaking good. So, last episode, we went ahead and took care of finishing up getting our bridge installed, getting all of our phaser banks installed, and getting some of our wiring taken care of. Now today, we're going to finish getting some wiring taken care of. And in this, just in a few minutes, well, a few minutes, who knows, if I'm able to get there. But here in just a little bit, we're going to be basically testing out all the lighting and seeing how the entire top of the saucer section looks all lit up at once. And I'm super excited about that. Then later on in the episode, we're going to go ahead and move on to starting to work on the lower half of the saucer section by installing our frames and working on getting some of our formation lights and other things taken care of. And we're going to be doing a little bit of work on the nacelle and getting the clips put in place so that when we plug it into the basically into the engineering section, it has a way of holding it in place. So let's go ahead and move on to stage 57 and get to installing our next PCB. All right, here's stage 57, and I believe these parts are from where? Is this? I can't remember. Who is these ones? Who is these ones? Excellent English. It doesn't really matter. These are definitely from a different manufacturer or different for a different part of Fanhome or DeAgostini, wherever you want to call it. As the card is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and just dump our parts. Carefully, of course, if we can. Go ahead and get our stuff pulled out here. Got some BM screws. A spring. You know what? I'm going to be smarter than you, BM screw. Check this out. Oh, yeah. I got the brain. Yeah, see? All right. Excellent. Okay. In here, we get a switch. And this is going to be the main switch, I believe, for the ship, which we will go ahead and keep in place. Some AM, BM screws, and then we have a cover for our spring mechanism, which is what we're going to be installing first here into the nacelle. We have our new PCB, and we have the connection wire to link the two PCBs together. So we're going to be linking this to PCB number 2. So we'll go ahead and set these off to the side. We're going to start right here. Let's go ahead and get our screws out. We got our AM screws up front. And next we got our BM screws. There we go. And then let's go ahead and get our spring mechanism out, as we're going to be using that next. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave that sitting on the table. Excellent. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab our nacelle. Oh, by the way, we have some more stuff here. Some FM screws. Going to be using a lot of 3-in-1 oil today. There we go. And they provided us with some zip ties, which is nice because we're going to be doing a little bit of cable management today. Excellent. And then we have our lower frame section. And this is front and center right underneath here. And that's where the front deflector is going to be. Because a lot of people don't know that there is an actual deflector on the front of the saucer section. So let's go ahead and get this out of our package. And there's our frame section. Hefty piece. Very nice. All right. I'm going to go set that aside for the moment. Let's go ahead and get our spring put into place. And to do so, we're just going to simply put the spring over the top, just like so. And then it doesn't matter which way, either or. But what we're going to do is there's a little ridge on there. We're going to go ahead and get that in place inside. Doesn't matter which way. All right. Excellent. So there's a little slot in the back as well. So you want to kind of like push it through. So then it becomes spring loaded. Oh, I had it, tested it, and was messing it up. So the demonstration. Right back in the back of the post is going to go into place. So you want to put the spring in there, push the post in through the back, and then push it down. This seats it in place so that it gives it some room to be able to spring back. Okay? And what we're going to do, take a cover, put it over the top, and there's going to be a little latch on the back side back there. That is going to go towards the back. Oh, excuse me. Going to go towards the front to lock it in place. I apologize, read that incorrectly. Set that right down over the top. Now we're going to use 2 AM screws. Go ahead, and just a reminder for when you're using the AM screws to go into 3-in-1 oil, as it does help ease the screw into place, as nothing is pre-threaded here. All right. All right, both are put in place. Let's check to make sure that our mechanism works. And it does indeed spring back and forth. All right, excellent. So that is the end of the nacelle for this portion of the episode. Go ahead and set that up off to the side. Let's go ahead and bring our saucer section back into play. Let's go ahead and flip it over. And where we're going to be installing everything is right back in this area. So there are quite a few things that we're going to need to plug in here very soon. All right, so we do have the 2. There's 1. Did I plug that one in? I guess I did. Okay. All right. Just making sure that I got everything wired up out of the way. Excellent. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and pull this out. We're going to have an in-out socket, and it needs to go down towards the bottom, down this way, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the cable, and of the in-out, currently I have my power supply going in there right now. On the in-out on this PCB, PCB2, which is going to be the bottom left corner, we're going to go ahead and install this cable in place. And this is the bridge between the 2 PCBs. And then we're going to go ahead and install it on the in-out on this corner on the new PCB. Always make sure to check your polarity and make sure you're plugging these in correctly and not forcing it. Excellent. Now, we're going to set the PCB down with the wire that we just laid down. And we're going to lay it on top. Okay. There we go. Now I got it set on top of its 4 posts. And we're going to go ahead and secure this in place with 3 FM screws and not 4, as this screw over in this corner is a little bit close to the trace, as we've mentioned before, and we don't want this board shorting out. Now, I do have the luxury of having a couple extra boards, and I do have the replacement for this one as well, but that does not mean that I want to be trying to replace it down the line. So, get our FM screw, find our first spot, screw it in place. And as a reminder, you don't want to tighten this down too much. You can crack the board if you try to torque down too hard. Just enough. All you need is just enough to hold it in place. And as soon as it starts biting and not wanting to turn easily on its own, stop. Okay, we're going to go back into this corner here. Excellent. Our third and final PCB for the saucer section is installed, and we only have one more PCB to install in the entire model, and that's going to be coming up in the next episode, I believe. Or no, probably 2 weeks from now. All right. So we're going to need to go ahead and grab the power switch, which we are going to use. And then we're going to go into the SW1 on PCB1, which is going to be right here. There we go. So it's going to be right next to the in out. Our switch is put into place. Excellent. So our main power switch is now installed into the model. Very freaking cool. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and install this on this pin right here on basically any one of them labeled A. Excellent. That one's installed. Very good. And then we have the 3-2 plugs. I've already installed. Yep, I already assumed and installed them. All right. I think all of them have been installed so far. Okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of cable management through here. This we're going to need here soon, so we'll go ahead and leave that out. I think we're looking pretty good for all of our cable management right now. Over here needs a little bit of help. There we go. Back up from the PCB just a little bit. There we go. That LED is hanging true and free. That one we can just route over this way. And that switches out. That's good. That's the bridge. That's good. That's good. All right. Grab our last little bit of cable management here. Double check to make sure that all of our, don't have any loose, not plugged in JSTs. Looks like we're all good. Let's go ahead and trim up our cable ties. Excellent. Then we're going to go into the in2 with our main power supply. Excellent. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my main power adapter and get this plugged in. Oh, buddy, we're lit up. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the overheads, and let's see what we got. Excellent. Oh, I really do like how these windows on the bridge module are not super bright. Oh, that's perfect. Maybe even a little bit too dim. And that's going to be through here. So that's maybe something that I may think about. But overall, I am very pleased with how that looks. How are we looking for light leaks for anything new? Got a couple things along the sides here. I haven't gotten basically anything back here. So we have some light leaks to deal with. But, oh man, our arboretum is lit up. Oh, buddy. A little darker. We learn. Our impulse engines are lit up. We need to do a little bit of sealing in of these to make sure that our light leaks are not too bad. Excellent. Oh, wow. I am very pleased with how that turned out. Excellent. Okay. All right. So, wow. I do have to say that is pretty awesome to see. All right. Let's go ahead and turn on our overheads again. And we'll leave this lit up for the second, or, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and test the main power switch. See how that works. Beautiful. Well, we'll just go ahead and turn it off then for a little bit. Excellent. Okay. All right, so now what we need to do is flip the saucer section around. So I'm actually going to go ahead and unplug it for right now. And we'll leave it on our towel. Let's go ahead and move it right here. Excellent. So now we need to grab the lower skeleton and we're going to fit it into place while being careful and observant of where everything is going. So here's the main power. Run that back that way. Underneath, main switch. Just make sure that our wires are up out of the way. And where we're going to be installing this is going to be on these posts. Okay, excellent. Sorry, I just had to make sure that I got that done. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our BM screws, dump them out. We're going to go and start up here at the top. Oh, cool. Huh, there wasn't even anything in there. Huh, nice. All right, first one's in place. Now I'm going to go down here to the bottom corner and making sure that I'm being careful about not pinching any wires anywhere where we're going to be connecting up our plugs. So right here is going to be a bit of a problem. Okay. So I see that this could be a bit of an issue right here, so I'm going to start right here. And right here. Okay. I need to kind of work my way down in order for the bottoms to be squished in enough. Is what it seems like. Next row, right here. Yeah, that's going to be the key. Work your way down. Oh. See potential issue here. Got some wires sitting up, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen these, unfortunately. As this is getting pinched through this point. Don't want to have that happen. Those wires would get completely separated. There we go. That's actually what's causing some problems there. So excellent. Glad I got that done. Get these resecured over here. Ah. And then down along the bottom, you were using FM screws. No wonder I was having such a problem with that. There we go. And we're going to use FM screws at the very bottom row, which are a bigger bore screw. All right. You really need to make sure that your wire is not getting pinched in here. Do take your time and observe what you're doing before you do it. There we are. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and flip the switch just to make sure everything's still okay. Well, power's not even connected, so, well, no, Jordan, you need to do that. So, connect your power. Flip the switch. And just verify that all of our lights are still working. All right, we're good to go. And the last FM screw. All right. And there we are. Excellent. Wow, that was a little bit of a a sweaty stage, so to say. All right, so that completes stage number 57. We got our first frame on the lower half of the hull, and that's what that looks like. That familiar shape starting to come to be. All right, let's go ahead and move on to stage 58 and doing some more cool work with getting the same thing done, only running a bunch of lights through the saucer section. All right, here is stage 58. Let's go ahead and get it open and get to moving. That all the way out. And it is much the same as last stage, only with a bunch of LEDs included. All right. Get that out to make sure we got all of our screws and everything out of there. All right, we're all good to go on that front. Get our trash taken care of. Dump our FM screws out of there. Our next frame section is getting put in place today. And we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. We got varying lengths of LED as they're going to be going to different portions of the ship. So let's just make sure we're keeping everything separate. And I know which ones are which. These are two longer ones. This one's really long. All right, let's just line them all up and see what we got. Supposed to have, let's see here, two longer and two shorter. All right. And that is indeed the case. So these are the two shorter ones on the outside, longer ones on the inside. We have our spring mechanism. I believe we're going to start there. If not, we're going to start there regardless. There we go. Get that on the table. We have an LED, shorter one. We have some AM screws. Some BM screws. And some FM screws. Very similar to the last stage. Excellent. All right, so stage 58 has us starting with doing what we did last stage and creating the little spring mechanism for the nacelle. So let's go ahead and get that put into place. Very simply, through process of learning last time. And then I believe these are going to get put into place with two AM screws. Into our 3-in-1 oil. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So I believe that's all we're going to be doing here on the nacelle. So let's make sure our spring is working. It is not. It is now. Start screwing. Oh, a little too tight. There we go. All right, so just a little too tight. You can tighten these down too much, I guess. So there's that. We're all complete. We're ready almost for assembly on that one. Coming up in a couple of stages, we'll be doing the, well, not stages, but coming up after stage 60, I'll be able to do the Nacelle Mod at any point. So we will talk about that at some point. And I'm just seeing that my screws over my impulse engines are a little loose still. There we are. Excellent. Okay, so now we are going to grab this one here, and we are going to put this one into a socket marked B on PCB 1. Do we have any sockets on B? We do. Right here. So for me, my wiring is a little funny because I did do it out of sequence when I was reinstalling all my panels after resonating my windows to begin with. All right, excellent. And then what's going to happen here is we need to route this down and through. If I'm remembering this correctly from the instructions, it's correct. We need to route this down and through, and then come out right through here underneath where the two pieces are about to meet, the two panels. We're going to have this sticking forward. Just like that. Okay? So leave that sitting out. Just like that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab the aft port, which is going to be one of the longer ones here. And then we're going to plug this into one of the larger ports marked W, which is going to be right here. And it's going to be the 4-pin. Excellent. And then this one, we are going to route around the saucer and run it down and through each one of the arms here of the superstructure, and run it all the way to the back of the ship. All right, just continue to snake it back. And we want to run it until we get all the way to the end right here, and run it all the way back and through, just like so that it can come back and catch our port side light. Fantastic. Okay. Let's go ahead and get our power supply unplugged here, because it's kind of in the way right now. Excellent. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to go with the aft starboard, which is going to be the 2-pronged, and it's going to go into the spot directly next to where we just installed the last one. So what I'm having to do is I realize I plugged this into the wrong port over here. So this one is going to get plugged in to this one right behind underneath. There we go. Definitely a tight fit now at this point. So make sure that your connection is secure. Going to run it down and through and around. Let's actually run it straight through this way. I'm going to use my tweezers to help feed it back through here and down, and then over this way. Okay, excellent. Now, the port side one is going to go in, or the starboard side is going to go into the plug where we just plugged in, unplugged a second ago. And doing the same thing we just did, I'm going to feed it so it goes all the way around to the other side. I want it to get there. I don't want it to be fancy. Okay. Excellent. So that is now put in place. We're not having any tangling issues going on. All right. Excellent. Power supply, main power switch, all taken care of. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That is out. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab the formation LED light, which is going to be one of these here. It's going to be a 4-plug. And we're going to go into one of the slots right here on PCB1. We have 2 right here. We're going to go into one of the 2 of these marked G and R. Excellent. And then we're going to follow the same path that the first one went and follow it through, but then it's going to exit out. Let's go ahead and turn this here. It's going to exit out right at this point where our next formation light is going to be. And one more. A little bit of tight fit there now with the other wire. Pull this out and then send it up. And we are ready to go on that side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our last light, or LED, and we're going to go into the other one marked G and R. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side to get to the starboard side. We just did the port. Let's go ahead and do starboard. There we go. And simply just going to run it down through the trough or the trench. Didn't actually run the other one through here, so it's a little bit easier of a fit. Move these extraneous wires out of the way right now so I'm not getting confused. So I'm grab some slack so it's going to be a little bit easier to pull it across. There we go. Get it through. Pull our slack out of the way. And there we go. Excellent. And I think all we have left is to go ahead and get our frame section put into place. Oh, don't do that. Don't grab that like that. Goodness me. All right. So now, much like we did in the previous stage, we're going to go ahead and have to get this in place and do so without pinching any of our wires anywhere. So be paying attention to where this is going to be connecting up. Make sure there are no wires in those general areas. This one seems to be a bit of a want to. So, top two, good. Okay. So, see a bit of an issue right here. We're going to cut the wire connector here, or the zip tie. Being careful. Need to kind of spread this around this post here. There we go. Get the wires pushed down, out of the way. There we go. You want to get this down here onto the bottom, tucked underneath this frame piece. So there's this piece right here. You want to tuck it underneath. And then make sure none of your wires are being pinched into any one of those spots. All right, we are looking good. Fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and start with some BM screws. And as we learned on the other side, we're going to start at the top and work our way down. With the FM screws being the screws that are on the bottom layer. And I've kind of looked ahead a little bit, and I have seen how they're going to be having us install the LEDs. And I really do like the approach. It's going to be a different approach than how it's been done before on this model, and I think a better approach, and one that I think they kind of course corrected. I mean, I kind of get the feeling like either the design of it forces it, but it definitely is a better design for how the LEDs are being put into place. They're attached to the frame and not the panel itself. All right, that pulls that down. Excellent. Well, that first one was definitely a learning experience as I was watching for all of the different things that you can get trapped on. There we go. Sometimes the little connectors that sit in between aren't sitting quite right, so don't worry about trying to bend them too much. Just make sure it gets into place properly. Excellent. Do we have any more in the lower row? Yep, we had a couple actually up top here that I missed. And our last BM screw. So notice they're starting to give us 2 backups for each one for whatever reason now. Could be that there's just a lot and they're giving you the chance to lose one if you'd like. All right, and I'm going to grab 4 FM screws. And we're going to go ahead and finish this up today along this lower level. Well, this episode was by far an adventure. A lot of things to do, a lot of things to cover. Definitely saw that we have some light leaks that we need to address. And, is that correct? Yep. Yep. 2, 3. Oh, just 3. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. Nope, it's 4. And it's the one in the center. Yeah, no, just seeing that we had a lot of light leaks that we're going to have to deal with. And, yeah, this model is far from perfect, but the measures that we take at this point make it as good as we possibly can. And never let perfect be the enemy of good, my friends. That's a good lesson for modeling in general, I think. Never let perfect be the enemy of good. All right, so right over our connection point. Well, and our last screw of the day. And there we are. Well, I have to say, we're going to take, almost one more. Almost forgot one. The one in the very center, we're going to connect the 2 frames together. There we are, with 1 AM screw. Very cool. And let's go ahead and plug us back in. And we're going to go ahead and test all of the new lights that we just installed. Let's go ahead and hit the power switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. All of our panels are lit up. So, just as a reference, also as well, you should be expecting, if you're following along with the stock build, for there to be some blinking happening. I have done the no blink mod on this model, as the formation lights should not blink, just the nav lights. And I'm not going to run an Arduino, so none of our lights are going to blink. All right. So let's go ahead and give this a flip over real fast and give a peek see of the whole model all lit up and done. And there is all of our frame section, by the way. We're all good to go there. Excellent. And here we are all lit up. All right, my friends, this is another long one. It seems like these ones are going to kind of be that way for the next little bit as the build has gotten a little bit more complicated. So that's what I got for you today. Next episode, we're going to go ahead and continue moving on to stages 59 and 60 and into pack number 16 of this model as we start to approach the halfway mark on this model and the next major mod in the Nacelle Mod. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember, my friends, to always live long and prosper.